I invited her for the workshop next day. That's where she got impressed, saying, this guy is good.
Yeah.
So when I spoke to her about law of attraction in that program where I was teaching her, is where after the program, she had skepticism about, does this really work?
So after that, I obviously asked him 100 odd questions on law of attraction. Then we also went, I read few books, and then I thought, okay, let me apply. So I started applying on small things. And then those small things I converted into getting married to him only. So I
So we literally
prepared-
attracted each other.
So I prepared
So you guys are a
affirmations
proof of law of attraction to begin
Yes.
with.
to begin with. Yeah, my marriage is a result of law of
Is a
attraction.
result of
So I'll tell
law
you
of
backstory.
attraction. Yeah.
Before I met her,
Yeah.
1 week before that, so I had already had a couple of breakups by then. So I had
Okay.
one of those guys who said, no, I never want to fall in love type of a guy. But then everybody eventually
Yeah.
falls through that, right?
Yeah.
So time came and I said, okay, now it's time for a relationship. So in my life, whenever I want something, instead of working hard, I use alignment or FTBA.
Right.
Use law of attraction.
Yeah.
So one of the techniques which we call visualization, I used it. And I said, okay, now I'm ready for a relationship. 1 week after that, I attended the program which I was attending, and that's where I met her.
What I would have believed is that law of attraction is a very recent thing. It's a very new, trending thing, you know. But you're telling me this is something that you've been practicing over 20 years. And of course, the origin must be way before that.
Yes.
Yes.
Right? So how did you get introduced to this concept?
When I was young, I'm still young, but I think when I was 16 or so, I remember being a fan of superhero movies like Spider-Man, Superman, He-Man.
Right.
Always had this idea of, is it possible that we want something, get it effortlessly, magically? And I remember reading this first book on law of attraction. It was called The Silva Mind Control. And it blew my mind that there is a part of our brain, if you tune into the frequency correctly, I realized science that what we feel is what we attract. And if you really start feeling happy, you start attracting the right people in your life. And before reading that, all I was feeling was desperate. And then I started applying that in my life, and I found something crazy. Law of attraction is actually written, as you correctly said, years ago in Bhagavad Gita. So to an example, Bhagavad Gita says, you are not body, you are soul. You cannot take birth, you cannot die. You only transform from one life to another life. Physics says exactly the same thing in literally 7th standard physics. It says matter equals energy. You're not body or soul.
Yeah.
Matter or energy cannot be destroyed, energy cannot be created.
Yeah.
You cannot be killed, you cannot take birth.
Very simple. If you are calling, say, 98.3, you are tuning into 98.3, which is, I think, Radio Mirchi in Mumbai. So if you tune into 98.3, it will play in Radio Mirchi. It will not play FM radio or
Yeah.
Love or Ishq channel. It will
Right.
play Radio Mirchi because you are tuning into the frequency of 98.3.
Got it.
So you are actually, by using FTBA, which is feeling, thoughts, beliefs and action, you are tuning into the frequency of what you are looking for. So going back to your original question, can I manifest anything? Yes, you can.
Yeah.
If you tune into that frequency using FTBA.